Think ADHD is all about boundless energy? What if I told you one of its most profound yet often invisible struggles is a deep, persistent exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix? Welcome. If that feeling of being utterly drained despite your racing mind sounds familiar, you're in the right place. This is ADHD exhaustion, a complex, multifaceted experience that goes far beyond ordinary tiredness. Today, we're diving deep into 7 key reasons why this exhaustion hits so hard for those with ADHD. Understanding these can be the first step towards validation and finding ways to cope. Item 1. The unseen effort. Your brain in constant overdrive. First up, the sheer, relentless mental effort. Imagine your brain is a computer with far too many tabs open, all demanding resources all the time. For individuals with ADHD, this isn't far from reality. This overdrive state comes from constantly working to focus, filter out distractions, stay organized, and regulate impulses tasks that might be more automatic for neurotypical brains. The brain with ADHD is often described as less energy efficient. It needs to expend more energy on average to complete tasks due to challenges with working memory, organization, and managing procrastination, all while dealing with associated stress and anxiety. This isn't about a lack of attention, but the immense energy it takes to direct and sustain it. This constant cognitive juggling is incredibly demanding. By midday, many feel completely wiped out because their mental energy is already depleted from this invisible work, this continuous internal management system that rarely gets a break. The fatigue here isn't just from doing things, but from the monumental effort of managing the ADHD brain itself to even attempt those things. This underlying executive overhead is a constant, silent drain on energy reserves, explaining why rest might not feel fully restorative. The brain struggles to switch off this intensive management mode. Item 2. The executive function tax. Why daily life feels like heavy lifting. Next, let's talk about what can be called the executive function tax. Executive functions are your brain's crucial management system. They handle planning, organizing, initiating tasks, managing time, and remembering details. For those with ADHD, these functions often present significant challenges. As Dr. Russell Barkley, a prominent ADHD researcher, has pointed out, it's often not that an individual doesn't know what to do. It's that somehow it doesn't get done, or getting it done involves overcoming substantial internal hurdles that deplete energy. Think about the energy it takes to constantly battle procrastination, to make decisions when your brain feels foggy, or to keep track of multiple steps for a complex project. Individuals with ADHD often need to consciously and actively engage cognitive strategies for tasks that others might manage more intuitively, and this constant effort to override natural tendencies is mentally draining over time. Each of these struggles adds to your daily cognitive load, making even seemingly simple tasks feel monumental and insurmountable. This tax isn't a one-off payment, it's a cumulative tariff levied on almost every aspect of daily life, leading to a much faster depletion of mental reserves. This explains why tasks that others find straightforward can be disproportionately exhausting, and why the constant experience of things being harder can, without understanding, lead to unfair self-blame or feelings of inadequacy. Item 3. Emotional tides. The exhausting weight of intense feelings. ADHD isn't just about attention, it profoundly impacts emotions. Many individuals with ADHD experience feelings more intensely and have a harder time regulating them, a challenge known as emotional dysregulation. Imagine your emotions are like powerful ocean tides, quick to rise, strong in their pull, and taking a considerable amount of time and effort to recede. Constantly navigating these intense waves of frustration, disappointment, anxiety, or even overwhelming excitement takes a huge toll on your energy. This isn't about being too sensitive. It's rooted in brain wiring. The effort to manage these big emotions, or sometimes the additional effort to mask them to meet social expectations, is profoundly exhausting. This creates a dual form of exhaustion: the energy spent experiencing the intense emotion itself, and then the additional energy poured into trying to manage, suppress, or recover from it. This internal battle, often hidden from the outside world, is a significant and constant energy drain. Moreover, this fatigue can be cyclical. Exhaustion can lower frustration, tolerance, and emotional resilience, making emotional dysregulation even more pronounced, which in turn leads to more exhaustion. Item 4. Sensory overwhelm. When the world drains your battery, are you easily overwhelmed by bright lights, loud or persistent noises, strong smells, certain textures, or crowded spaces? This is a common experience for people with ADHD due to heightened sensory sensitivity. Your brain may struggle to filter out what others consider irrelevant sensory input, meaning it's processing an enormous amount of information almost constantly. It's like trying to have a quiet conversation in a room where multiple televisions are blaring and people are shouting. This constant sensory bombardment isn't just distracting, it can trigger a fight or flight stress response, leaving you feeling agitated, overwhelmed, and utterly drained, even if your physical activity has been minimal. This sensory overload isn't merely an annoyance, it's a physiological stressor that actively depletes energy reserves by keeping the nervous system in a state of high alert. The recovery period needed after such overload signifies a deeper depletion than just momentary tiredness. The continuous effort to manage or avoid sensorily overwhelming environments can also restrict life choices and social participation, which can indirectly contribute to feelings of isolation or frustration, further compounding the exhaustion. Item 5. The tired but wired paradox. ADHD and the sleep struggle. Many with ADHD are all too familiar with the frustrating paradox of feeling tired but wired, especially when it's time to sleep. Your body is crying out for rest, but your mind refuses to switch off, replaying the day's events or racing with new ideas. ADHD is strongly linked to a wide range of sleep problems: difficulty falling asleep, restless sleep with frequent waking, and even circadian rhythm delays, meaning your natural sleep-wake cycle is shifted, making you feel more alert in the evening. This isn't simply a matter of bad sleep habits. The ADHD brain's regulation of arousal and alertness is often impaired, sometimes linked to delayed melatonin onset. The resulting sleep deprivation creates a vicious cycle. Poor sleep worsens ADHD symptoms like inattention and emotional reactivity during the day, which in turn makes it even harder to wind down and sleep at night, deepening the overall fatigue. This chronic sleep deprivation can mimic or intensify symptoms often attributed solely to ADHD, such as poor concentration or irritability, making it difficult to discern the primary cause if sleep isn't specifically addressed. Item 6. The medication maze. Side effects and energy crashes. While medication can be a crucial tool for managing ADHD symptoms, its relationship with energy levels can be complex and, for some, contribute to fatigue. Stimulant medications, while designed to improve focus and alertness, can sometimes lead to an energy crash or rebound effect as they wear off. This can leave you feeling more tired, irritable, and with a resurgence of ADHD symptoms later in the day. Conversely, for some individuals, especially when starting stimulants, the medication might induce a sense of calm as it slows down a typically hyperactive mind. This newfound quietness can sometimes be misinterpreted by the brain as tiredness, particularly if one is accustomed to constant mental chatter. Furthermore, an incorrect dosage, whether too high or too low or improper timing of stimulant medication, can also lead to feelings of fatigue or being drained. Non-stimulant medications, another option for ADHD treatment, can also list drowsiness or fatigue as potential side effects for some individuals. The impact of medication on energy is not straightforward and highlights why finding the right medication, dosage, and timing is a careful process that requires open and ongoing discussion with a healthcare provider. Item 7. Hitting the wall, understanding ADHD burnout. Finally, the cumulative effect of all these factors, the relentless mental effort, executive function demands, emotional intensity, sensory bombardment, poor sleep, and medication complexities, can culminate in something more severe: ADHD burnout. This isn't just a bad day or feeling very tired. It's a state of profound mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion stemming directly from the chronic stress of living with and managing ADHD. It often feels like hitting an invisible wall that you simply can't push through. Motivation plummets to near zero. Tasks that were once manageable, even if challenging, now feel utterly insurmountable. And even basic self-care activities like showering or preparing a meal can seem like monumental efforts. ADHD burnout is distinct from general burnout because it's so closely tied to the unique, ongoing challenges of managing ADHD symptoms. It's often the result of prolonged periods of overcommitment, perhaps due to difficulty saying no or time blindness, perfectionism, sometimes used as a coping mechanism for fear of failure, a lack of consistent self-care, and the relentless effort to meet neurotypical expectations, often without adequate support or understanding. Recognizing the signs of ADHD burnout is critical because it's a clear signal that your mind and body desperately need a different approach, one that prioritizes more rest, seeks more support, and implements sustainable ADHD-friendly strategies. So, as we've explored, ADHD exhaustion isn't a single, simple issue. It's a complex web woven from the threads of relentless mental effort, the daily tax of executive function challenges, the weight of intense emotions, the drain of sensory overload, persistent sleep disruptions, the nuanced effects of medication, and the ever-present risk of deep burnout. If you're living this, please hear this loud and clear. Your exhaustion is real. It is profoundly valid. It is not a character flaw. It is not laziness. And it is certainly not a lack of trying. It's a physiological and psychological response to the unique way your brain is wired and the often unseen effort required to navigate a world that isn't always built for it. But understanding these layers, these reasons why you feel this way, is the first powerful step. Recognizing the roots of this fatigue can empower you. There are strategies, there are supports, and there are ways to manage this exhaustion and begin to reclaim your energy. You are not alone in this experience, and it truly can get better. If this video resonated with you, or if you learned something valuable, please give it a like. It genuinely helps other people who might be struggling with similar feelings to find this information. And for more insights into living with ADHD, please consider subscribing to the channel. We'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 aspects of ADHD exhaustion do you experience most intensely? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. It's a great way for us to learn from and support each other. And if you're looking for practical tips on managing ADHD, check out our playlist on ADHD management strategies. You'll find the link on screen and in the description below. Remember, understanding is power. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.